Okay, Mr. Chair, you're live to the public.
Hello.
Hey, great. Well, this is the April meeting of the Tourism Advisory Board, and we're calling it to order now. So I see, well, okay, I see Jeff, Bill, Susan. Wow, good turnout today. Okay, Mary Kathy.
Hi.
Okay. I see a telephone. Is there somebody on the telephone line?
Someone did call in. I'm not familiar with the phone number.
It might be Ron.
Ron, it's Ron Brown.
Okay, good, Ron. Hi, Ron.
Okay.
Ron, while I've got you, we could use some more Lafayette Trail brochures at the Visitor Center.
Okay.
Okay. So we're missing Stephanie, Mary, and I think that's it.
Mary will not be coming. She resigned from Maritime Museum, so we need a new museum.
Okay.
Oh.
So Stephanie I didn't hear anything back from Stephanie, and she usually does.
She sent me a text. It says, I won't be able to log in this morning for tourism. My computer isn't connecting at all. She said she will send a report once I get it. She's having computer problems at home.
Okay. Well, then I guess we're all here, and that will be it. We really didn't have a meeting last month, but I did send out like a report, which I guess I don't know that really counts as minutes since we didn't actually meet, but we had minutes from the previous meeting and they were wonderful by Bonnie. So would anybody like to approve the minutes from February, I think it was? Anybody at all?
I'll make a
Sure.
motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
There you go. I'll second.
Thank you. So that is said. Okay, the next on the agenda is the chairperson's report, and the one thing I want to talk about is we need a vice chair because if I'm away, somebody needs to be able to step into my place. We need a secretary. Oh, Bonnie, will you be kind enough to be our secretary for today again? And you don't really have to quite go into all that detail for your sake, but your minutes were unbelievable. So I've never seen minutes that good before. So anyway, so I'm fairly new to the group. I assume you have regular elections. That's sort of how I got drafted into this. But I don't remember when they are.
Hey, Tim, they're provided for in the ordinance, the tourism ordinance. If you have a copy of that,
I do not.
I believe we're supposed to take nominations in April, elections in June, I believe.
Oh, perfect. Then we'll take nominations today for all the offices in that case. So like I say, I'm willing to continue on as the chair, but I would like to have a vice chair because if I have to go away or something, I need to have somebody that can step in. And we could use a secretary. Bonnie's a great secretary, but she's not really a member of the board. So one of us should really be doing that job. So anyway, so can I open the floor for anybody who would like to nominate themselves or somebody else for one of the positions? All's quiet. So nobody gets hurt being an officer. Being vice chair will probably be mostly very boring, but it's good to have one. I promise I won't dupe you into being the chairman shortly into your vice chairman role or anything like that. So, and secretary, I know nobody probably really likes to do the secretary job, but we really need to have one. So Uh,
Is there
Anybody?
a nominating committee called for in the ordinance, or is it, no, okay. It's hard to nominate somebody without having had a chance to ask them if they were interested. But I mean, to me, I would nominate Lori Orzowitz as the vice chair, but that would be dependent on her indicating.
I think that would not be consistent with the city code.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
She's a city employee.
Thank you, Greg.
That would be an obvious choice, but
By code, this board actually works at Laurie's direction, but she's not technically considered a member.
Okay. Well, Bill, did I just hear you say something?
no, I was just pointing out that Lori would be an obvious choice for chair of it if her position was, she was something other than what she is.
Okay.
I can be anything.
Kathy, would you be interested in being the vice chair, maybe?
You're muted, Kathy.
Keen?
Which Kathy are you talking about?
You, Kathy Vincenti. Yeah.
Can I be it with the chamber? I mean, I'll be vice chair, but I didn't know, am I a member of the board or am I like,
Yeah, you are.
okay.
I think the city employees are people who probably can't be
Okay.
chairman of the commission and all. So okay.
Yeah, you're a member, Kathy. You're not an ex officio.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll be vice chair.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you,
And
Kathy.
secretary, anybody willing to take that on for a year? And I promise we'll try and replace you next year so that it's not a permanent task.
Nobody's going to come back to the meetings. They're all going to be like, ah.
Well, we do have to have officers, and so we'll get to the good stuff in a minute. But anybody else? Bill, you're walking away from the camera. That's not right.
I think I have to let my dog out. I got to take my dog out.
Someone who's
Sorry.
not here.
Well, that would be fine, except is that the old they're not here, so we'll nominate them
Yeah.
and they'll get stuck with it.
Yeah.
Susan, would you be interested in secretary?
No, I did it for like 15 years.
So you're probably really good at it then.
No. I'm going to miss a few meetings because I'm going on a extended road trip. So
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I just don't have the time to
Okay.
do this. Laurie and I have been round and round about this in the past. I just don't have more time for it.
Yeah, you were the next person I was going to ask.
See, there you go.
So,
What about Ron? Ron's a good writer. Ron, are you interested?
right.
Ron's chairman of too many other things.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Kathy
Bonnie.
King.
No, I can't do it this year.
Okay.
Why don't we keep Bonnie on for now until maybe some of the we're getting a new museum person, a new store person, so maybe they would be interested. Or I could talk to Stephanie
That'll
too.
be fine. Yeah. As long as Bonnie is willing to do it, but she won't resign from the city for this.
Only if it's a Zoom call, otherwise I won't be there.
Well, that's true too. And hopefully one day soon we won't be Zooming, but yeah, we'll make you the secretary until that moment comes at least. And assuming you win the election next, you wouldn't be elected, so you're just like acting secretary. So okay, good enough. I think I beat that to death. So we'll go on to the next item is the Havre de Grace Tourism Office report. I left a bunch of things that hadn't happened yet on the agenda from what you had given me last month. So, but I'm sure there's more news of every sort.
So I'll just touch on a bunch of different things. First of all, the citywide yard sale and sidewalk sale was our largest yet. We had over 100 houses on the list. there was 80 actually listed, and then we had people calling and told them just to add to our Facebook post or tell a neighbor to send them to the house. And then the sidewalk sales, they were magnificent. I actually got 2 phone calls from 2 of the stores that said it was their best day ever in sales. It was just so many people in town. So it was definitely a plus. Ron started organizing this years and years ago and has dreamed that it would grow to this. And I think it has gotten there. The businesses, I think, saw the success of putting things in front of their stores. I know Kathy and I walked around and, you know, you see the deals out front and then you go inside. We spent way too much money, but that's the idea. So it's definitely a success. Thank you, Ron, for getting this together. And thank you, Bonnie, for the wonderful flyer you did. It was great. It was very organized. On to the trolleys. I think I may have mentioned this, I'm not sure, but all 4 trolleys have been ordered. We are expecting them hopefully the first week in July. Nothing is set in stone. Of course, once they come in, the Maryland State Police have to approve them, and then we can hit the road. The city, Chris Ricci, who is HR, is taking names. He hasn't taken applications yet, but he's taking names of those interested in being trolley drivers. It's a part-time position, but the city will be hiring part-time trolley drivers. I'm just going to keep going unless anybody stops me if they have questions. Defenders Day is coming up on May 1st. It is a Saturday at Concord Point Park. To the right side of the lighthouse will be a beer garden with first starting off a performance by the Mosaic Project depicting the War of 1812. And then that will be about a half hour. And then we will follow that by the celebration, which is 2 bands, No Boundaries, followed by New Romance, an 80s band, both great bands. That's on the right side of the lighthouse. On the left side is activities. We have Krabby Axe coming, axe throwing, and then we have VFW Alliance setting up some kids activities. We have a couple of nonprofits setting up, like the Mosaic Project, Arts Collective will be setting up. And then we'll have 15 food trucks lining the streets. So it should be a lot of fun. Of course, everything has to do with weather. So everybody pray for a nice sunny day and it'll be wonderful. So that's kind of our first big spring summer event. At the same time that's going on is the Decoy Festival, which is a little different this year. It's not going to be at the high school. It's actually going to be on the grounds at the Decoy Museum. Theirs, I believe, runs from 10 to 6. They have actually asked me to bring a couple food vendors in early, which will set up on the Maritime pad so that they have some food for their guests and vendors. So a couple of our food will set up a little early. And that runs on Sunday as well. Let's see, the next thing would be First Fridays on May 7th. Bonnie and I have laid out the entire season. We already have wait lists for some of the months. June seems to be the most popular month where we have like no spots left. I don't know that we even have any left in May. Over 100 vendors have wanted to come. We have some new food trucks wanting to come. So everyone's very excited about participating and getting things going. So that should work well. We are also going to we're not going to have a kid zone for May, June, and July. It's just too much hands-on with COVID. So we are going to put Krabby Axe, the axe throwing where the kid zone was, and put some vendors on Lower Pennington for May and July. In June is the Jazz Fest. And so Lower Pennington is actually one of the stages for the Jazz Fest. So that will be a stage tented with a beer garden. Beer garden, will not be Friday night. It'll only be on Saturday, but it'll still be tented with bands on Friday. So in August, we'll reevaluate whether we want to bring the kid zone back. We just have to see where COVID is and what the regulations are. Let's see. Decoy Fest, I already mentioned that. First Fridays, the car show also for First Fridays, which was on Franklin Street. The storefronts on Franklin wanted to have an extended storefronts. So we are moving the car show to Upper Pennington. So basically Pennington between Washington and Lodge Lane. That's where the cars will be, and Franklin will be extended storefronts and vendors. So again, we have tons of vendors, so they'll be going up there. The radio station is going to have a band at the top of the hill to perform on Franklin Street. So I think the Franklin Street businesses are very excited about that. Patrick was talking to George. I don't know how excited he is, but hopefully it's an easy move for him to move to Pennington as well. What else do you have on here? I see you. Oh, Pride. So the Pride comes May 7th, 8th, and 9th. It will be actually arriving at the beginning of First Friday. So it will be shooting its cannons to announce that they are here. And they will stay set up. They're going to actually have a setup during First Fridays to direct people over to Hutchins Park, because obviously they won't know that it's there. And then it stays until Sunday. So on Saturday morning, the mayor is going to do a coffee with the captain at 9 a.m. And that's kind of during the farmer's market. So hopefully they will get people from farmer's market, and obviously you'll be able to see the ship from the farmer's market. And then they're going to stay until Sunday. They were looking for another performance. They asked us to do, let me back up a little. Typically, they do free rides for underprivileged kids and families. The Pride will come in and then they'll take people on rides. Because of COVID, they're not allowing anybody on the ship. The crew on the Pride actually live on the Pride. They have rooms and cook and everything. So they actually live on the Pride. So they're not ready to have visitors on there yet. So when it's here, it'll be docked at Hutchins Park, and you can look over into the boat, and they'll have displays and they'll talk about it. But in place of doing the rides, they've asked us to come up with some activities. Obviously, First Friday is our activity for Friday. Saturday will be the coffee with, and then Saturday afternoon is the art walk from 2 to 6. So one of the Pride people may come to one of the storefronts and talk about, during the art walk, and direct people to the ship then. Sunday, we really haven't come up with anything yet. It is Mother's Day. I'm sure people will be in town for brunches and stuff. So I think they'll get traffic, but we were talking with the Mosaic Project if they wanted to do some kind of a live skit or something. Bridget Carty with LSHG has been talking with me, and we're trying to come up with something for Sunday, but have not as of yet. So if anybody has any suggestions, let me know. See, what else do we have? Okay, I already talked about that. That was last week. And with destination guide. So our destination guide is a little different this year. I think I've talked about that before. We will not have the calendar of events. It's basically the guide. It's the same guide without the calendar of events. Bill's been working on that. That should be finished up shortly, and hopefully we will have the guide in May. I think that's all I have to report. Oh, Defenders Day is ending with fireworks. I don't know if I mentioned that. So that's a cool ending to the day. Anything I forgot, Bonnie? No.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Getting back to the trolleys, like how many people can get in each trolley, and are 4 going to run at the same time, or?
2 will run at a time. They only last, I think it was like 4 hours. So basically they'll run 2, and then when those 2 need to be charged up, the other 2 will go out. So they'll continuously have trolleys running. It's just 2 will be charging while the other 2 are running. The last I heard, it was a 12-person trolley. Adam, I don't know if you can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure it's 12 people.
And it
is 12 people.
It's 12, and it'll just be on the weekends, or it's going to be 7 days a week?
Be Friday, Saturdays, and when needed, essentially, and Sunday possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's all going to be a trial and error. So if we find that we need it other days, we'll add, but they'll start off with Friday and Saturday. And
yeah, I would anticipate some troubleshooting the first 2 months on that project.
Okay, and then how much are they offering for the drivers? I might be looking for a new job. I'm just kidding, but really, how
To be
much?
determined.
I don't know that they have set a wage yet.
A wage, okay,
It's definitely a part-time position though.
okay.
And I think during our last meeting, you were taking ideas on stops. Have stops been determined as to where the trolley is going to run?
They have determined a plan. Adam, do you want to?
Yeah, the route basically encompasses the downtown area. Now, we're still working on that with MVA though. So it's still a little bit tentative right now. As far as the stops are concerned, that'll probably be forthcoming. We're just waiting. We're just still working with MVA on some of those final details right now.
I know what we talked about, like Water Street, because a lot of people
Mhm.
park down there. So it goes
Yep.
down Water Street to the
Yep.
Lock House, comes across Juniata, so that by Nani's Pizza, there's a park and ride there. So it definitely is going to hit a lot of the parking spaces, parking lots, so people can pick up, but then also, you know, take you from the lighthouse to the Lock House.
Yeah, all the obvious locations like the marina, downtown, those will also be included.
And I believe there'll be stops to pick up, but you can
Yes.
pretty much raise your hand and get off wherever you want.
Laurie, is the Waterfront Festival going to happen this year?
Yes, that is August 21st and 22nd. It's actually going to start on the 20th with a boat parade. Lindsay Jones is organizing that part of it. And they're definitely making it larger. So the Pirate Fest, which didn't happen last year and it was kind of dwindling away, is going to be part of the Waterfront Festival.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and they're talking about having like some shows put on by the pirates and maybe have lunch with the pirates, like a family style lunch with the pirates, kind of like the Renaissance Festival, you know, no utensils, all hands, you know, so to make it fun. So basically the Waterfront Festival will go from Lock House to Lighthouse. They're going to use the Moore Family Homestead to do like pony rides and stuff. So they're really spreading it out across
Great.
the town. And that event actually was just approved at the council meeting on Tuesday.
Wonderful. Will they be doing the crab soup?
Yes.
Good.
The
That
crab
was
soup.
great.
Yep, crab soup competition's coming back, and actually Hutchins Park is going to be kind of transformed more into seafood restaurants. So all kinds of seafood will be there. She's really theming the parks more this year, rather, you know, so pirates at the Lock House, seafood at Hutchins Park, and, you know, then like old time horseback rides and stuff like that at Moore Family Homestead. So she's kind of theming each of the parks.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
And did you say fireworks are the Saturday night of the
Defenders Day.
Day?
Yep.
That May 1st. Okay, thanks.
Correct. Yes, they are.
And they're going to do their usual setup off of the mooring that they put down by Tiding Jot Basin. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Yes, they are. So it should be a great day if the weather cooperates. This is actually the third year planning this event. The first year was totally rained out, the second year COVID, and now the third year. So
Yay.
hopefully it works.
I thought it was the best festival of all last that time they had it. I loved it.
Waterfront Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very nice. She did a good job and she's very excited about bringing it back. I mean, they're talking about I never saw it, but the mermaid in the tank is going to be down at the Pirate Fest too. And so Julie's very excited about it. I think she was very sad to see the Pirate Fest dwindling away. So this should give it some new life. And hopefully, especially having the trolley going all around and bringing people to all the different parks, it'll spread people out. And I think it'll be really, really well received.
And I'm sorry, it was August what?
21st, 22nd is the Saturday, Sunday, but then the boat parade is going to be on the 20th to kick it off. And she's throwing out around ideas about maybe having like a band and a viewing area for the boat parade, but that's all stuff she's thinking about. She is also, I'm sorry, I should tell you about this one too. So if you don't know, the 4th of July parade is on July 4th. In Havre de Grace. Taryn is having a hard time getting bands. It may be a shorter parade than we've had in previous years because marching bands just are not marching right now. But it is definitely happening. On July 3rd, the Alliance is going to do kind of like an old time fair. It will take place, they're closing Washington and Pennington. She's going to have different like soapbox races and Pinewood Derby races and stuff like that. And then vendors along the streets, just kind of like a step back in time. So that festival is going to take place on July 3rd. And of course, July 2nd is First Fridays. So we really have set up a weekend of entertainment for people coming into town, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then July 5th, everybody crashes because it's a holiday. But yeah, that should work. And hopefully it books up Airbnbs and, you know, brings people into town. Any other questions? Okay, I'm done, Jim.
Okay, you were talking about the previous two iterations of the Defenders Day running into obstacles, and I do know that this is a big year for locusts, so watch out.
They weren't invited to Haverty Grace. You didn't hear that?
Isn't there going to be a food truck cooking them up?
That's actually one of the kids' activities. They have to catch them and then we cook them for them.
Yeah.
See, there's all sorts of synergies there. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to the sector report. Stephanie's not with us, but she said she'll send us something. We don't have anybody for retail. We don't have anybody for museums. If anybody has anything they want to chime in about any of those, though, Bill, you're muted. Bill, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to go right to Art. I'm sorry.
Oh, not quite. Yeah, I'm just gonna say if anybody has anything they want to bring up about retail, nothing. Okay. Anything about the museums? I think Lori covered what some of the museums are up to anyway in her report. So, okay. So
the Maritime Museum, I have not heard if they have a new director or not yet. I know they're looking for one because Mary will be done at the middle of April. The rumor has it the Lighthouse has a new director, and I'm trying to think of her name.
I do have one thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
The Maritime Museum did hire somebody as their new director.
Did they? Okay, good. Good. And the Lighthouse did too, but I can't think of her name. She was on the Lock House board. I'll think of it and I'll let you know.
I was going to mention that the Lock House Museum, the interpretive signs that are out and between them and the river are being replaced and refurbished and redesigned. I just noticed because I worked on the job. So, and we're going to be placing a sign on the pivot bridge as well, giving basically says how that works. So they should be installed probably in the next month.
And speaking of the Lock House, the city is putting in 2 additional pickleball courts down by the Lock House. The construction actually was going on yesterday, so they should be up soon.
okay. Okay, Bill, we're on to public art.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize for my absence lately. Wife and I were traveling the past couple months. So anyway, I was able to put together some stuff though. The Arts by the Bay Gallery, the new show just began last Friday, the 16th. It's titled Life and Art Begin Anew. Ellie Tyron is the featured artist. If you've been in the Arts by the Bay Gallery, in the gallery itself, there's a room that's just dedicated to the featured artist. And they do 5 shows a year. And this is the new spring show. As far as events, I know that the Opera House and the State Theater are continuing to collaborate on presentations. And I know that the city's Thursday night concert series, of course, is being held at the State Theater. And so please go online if you're interested in those events, buy tickets. The Opera House is also doing some events, mostly virtual, but hopefully we'll have more live events here soon.
I'm ushering there tonight.
Sculptures I mentioned earlier are currently in fabrication by the artists in the studio. And hopefully we'll have those installed when they're completed. I don't have a firm date on that yet. Still have to get together the MOU with the city, and that should be a problem. The Ernest Burke statue dedication is June the 26th at 1 p.m. in Tidings Park. And I'm sure you've probably heard of that. It's the large life-size bronze statue of Ernest Burke, who was a native Haverty Grace resident, who is a war veteran, also played in the famous Negro Leagues. So he's like a favorite son of the town, and there will be a full-size bronze statue dedicated to him in Tidings Park on June 26th. Laurie mentioned the Art Walk, of course, which is Saturday, May 8th. from 2 to 6 p.m. You can walk downtown, see various artists doing their works in the stores and restaurants. For more information, please visit hdgartscollective.org to find out more information and details about the art walk. The Jazz and Blues Fest will be held June 4th and 5th. That's Friday and Saturday. There's 3 main venues for performances. One is the main stage, the headliner stage, that's being sponsored by the Wilburn Company. That's called the headliner stage, and that's down there at Concord Point Park. That's where your headliners will be performing. If you go to, let's see, HGG Jazz Fest, so I thought I copied down the exact address. I know it's HGGJazzFest.org, I believe. But anyway, if you go to the Arts Collective website, they point you there too. And they had the lineups there already. So the people that are performing. Also, there will be what's called local stage sponsored by Integrity Real Estate on Pennington Avenue. And that's where you get a flair of local jazz and blues talent. UB Blake Project will be having performers there as well. And also the State Theater will be having people performing there as well. So all in all, it looks like an impressive lineup. If you go there now, you can buy tickets at this time. We mentioned the Waterfront Festival. Laurie's talking about that. What the Public Art Committee is hoping to do is conduct a chalk art festival coinciding with the Waterfront Festival. If any of you have ever been in Little Italy in Baltimore and see the Montanari Chalk Art Festival, we want to kind of model that to that. Not on the same scale the first year, but this will be sort of like getting our feet wet. It's where you have various establishments with sponsoring artists. It pretty much covers their materials and whatnot. And they, of course, do their works on the streets, right on the streets. It's I've seen some impressive works down in Little Italy, and this is really kind of upscale art, really good stuff. So, and there's a contest, of course, for winners and whatnot. No details yet. A member of the Public Art Committee is working with Bambi right now to iron out some details on that. I think I mentioned before that the Public Art Committee made application to the Maryland Historic Areas Administration and the Maryland State Arts Council for grant funds for research and public input into the sculpture trail we're talking about. I think I mentioned this before, so bear with me if I'm repeating myself, but it's probably up to like 20 different pedestals for sculptures to be placed throughout. It pretty much follows the Heritage Corridor Trail through Havre de Grace, LCG Trail. And this would be a place that would, you could have sculpture in there on a rotating temporary basis and whatnot. And of course, we identify what the themes would be, and the work would be juried in, of course. So you have a sculpture trail, so like breadcrumbs throughout the entire corridor trail, and you did various sculpture, like 20 or so different pedestals. As far as jazz and blues, also I want to shout out to Greg Pseudo and Visit Hartford. They are the primary sponsor of that event. So thanks again, Greg, for doing that. And I think it's about all I have right now. Any questions?
I have a question, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Heritage Trail? Where does that go?
Well, if you look on the LSHG map, the trail basically is from like North Park and follows along the waterfront, pretty much down through town. Water Street, Market Street. I mean St. John's Market Street. Yeah.
Okay, but it's not marked, that trail.
Dams,
right?
Down at Concord Park.
Yeah, that trail's not marked anyway. You have to
No,
go.
it's not marked. I mean, you can find it on a brochure. LSHG brochure has it marked, but hey, it's basically on the waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
Anything? Okay.
Anything else? Thank you, Bill. The arts are as active as ever. Just wonderful. Outdoor recreation, Jeff?
Not a whole lot has changed since the last time. The weather is getting better. People are coming out. We're seeing more and more people come into town to work on boats. We're launching boats. We are continuing to get transient reservations, which we have not gotten much all of last year. Kind of late in the season, we picked up a few, but it's almost filling in like normal. 4th of July is weird in that we haven't gotten much yet, but I imagine we will with it falling with a holiday the day after it. So, more activity in town means that there's also more outdoor activity that's going on. The sailing camp, an update for that. We are we had a meeting, it was a week ago. We were at 120 students that were signed up. And our goal is to try and get 180 students, or 170, I'm sorry, 170 students. So we're zeroing in on that goal. We are going to be at the two First Friday events this year, because that tends to generate a little bit of interest for the program too. But the program's continuing to grow. We're getting more boats. We've got enough instructors to cover everybody. We've got a COVID plan in place. So all the things that need to be done to make it happen this year are in place, and we're going ahead with that. So that camp should be there going strong this summer like it has in the past. And that's it.
Anybody have any questions for Jeff? Fine. So we'll move on to tour operations. Kathy Keene.
Hi, everybody. Well, I don't really have anything new. I haven't received any calls for any guided walking tours lately, really, since last fall. I haven't received any. I usually do start getting them in the spring, and they usually come from the visitor center. Bonnie, they'll call the visitor center, and then Bonnie gives them my number, and then I set it all up. And Ron's usually the main person who does our who leads the Lafayette Trail guided tours, along with myself and Jim Nemeth and Kathleen Lee. That's the 4 tour guides I have. But I don't really have anything new about any upcoming events.
Okay. Chamber of Commerce, Kathy Vincenti. Kathy, you're unmuted.
Sorry. I don't have a lot to report because we're just going to have our first board meeting actually tomorrow. It'll be the first board meeting since February of 2020, right? So of course we haven't had any events going on, and basically the chamber is networking. We do have a new member. Has anybody been out to the Badass Creations on Route 40? It's a woodworking place. Has anybody been out there?
I've just seen it as I go by, but I haven't actually stopped.
Okay, well, Laurie and I stopped when we were out yard sailing Saturday, and they have joined the chamber. It's incredible in there. They have every kind of piece of wood that you would need to do your own projects, or they have things that they've made up, like gigantic, round, beautiful wood. I don't know names of woods. Jeff, you probably would know.
I keep meaning to stop there, but I haven't had a chance yet.
I think with watching you on Facebook, you would really like it. You know, it's like a great, they've made a great big table. They put a electric fire pit in it, great big dining room tables that are so unique. I didn't check prices or anything, but it's a husband and wife team who both lost their jobs with COVID and had wanted to do this for years and just jumped into it. I see cars there all the time. When Laurie and I were there, there had to be at least, I'd say 5 to 8 other people in there, and they said it's just been incredible. So even if you don't do woodworking, it is worth stopping in there. And they are offering 5% off to chamber members. So I would go ahead and say I'm a chamber member. Our luncheons, networking events will probably start, I don't know, midsummer, because I'm antsy to get going, but realistically, probably not until September. The other day I got the opportunity to go pick up my granddaughter at the middle school And you don't, if you've not driven that long thing to go around where actually it's kind of like the front of the school, we're not seeing that from the road. It is breathtaking, absolutely beautiful. And Jim Reynolds is a chamber member who really participates in the chamber. He is the high school principal. We're working on getting the chamber board an actual tour through it, and I would invite the tourism advisory board to come with us when and if this happens.
Oh, great. I've been wanting a tour. I
If you just, I think they have a gate that after school you can't, but if you ever have some time, because you get in the bus thing, but it's well organized. I was going down this road thinking this is crazy because I'm in a parking lot and how the kids come out. And then you go around this corner and it is spectacular. It really is. So I'll let you know about that if
I really want to see it.
Yeah. Really nothing else except for all you people that couldn't wait to plant plants. If there's any in this group, there's a freeze warning for 30 degrees tonight. So you got to cover your plants. And that's about it.
Thank you, Kathy. Anybody have any questions for Kathy? Okay, just bringing up that school thing. My daughter happened to give me a tour of the school yesterday.
Oh.
And I was just amazed. I've ridden around, and I don't think if they lock it, they don't do it till really late in the day. So
Okay.
if you do want to take that drive around, you can do that almost anytime.
I mean, it's almost like you're shocked because you go down this road and then all of a sudden it turns into something else.
Well, right now the road is so nasty looking at the front side with all the demolition and all. And the school sort of has two faces. The one face is very straight and formal looking that we all see. But when you go around that corner, like you say, all of a sudden there's buildings in and out and different doors and courtyards and things. It's amazing. Well, the inside is just as amazing. So I got to see the auditorium, which is just breathtaking. It reminds me in some ways of the old high school one, but this one has a balcony. It's just amazing. And all the other facilities for music, the weight room and different exercise rooms. When I went to high school, things like that weren't in high schools, but it's just amazing to see. So
well, a question for Adam. Have you heard any plans of what they're going to do with the old auditorium that's still up? Or
so the city is actually seeking a study to look at the use of that property currently.
Okay.
We've actually received certain funds from the state of Maryland to conduct that study, but we're just waiting for the results.
So it could be a possibility we'd have another venue of.
I think there's a lot of options on the table currently.
Okay.
All righty then. So we'll move on to lodging with Ron.
We've seen a lot of people calling in for reservations. More people are traveling, and so they're booking at Carol's and John and so on. They've several times been full for the weekend, and there are some weddings being planned in town. So lodging looks up and up.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you taking guests yet, Ron?
Not at this time with COVID.
Okay. So I know with Carol, she's working right now. They're remodeling a couple of the bathrooms in the house. That should be done within the next couple weeks, and she's been getting reservations like crazy. So definitely is coming back. People are raring to get out, and Howdy Grace is a great place to go in the COVID world because it's not a crowded place. At least people don't look at it that way. So it feels like a kind of a safe place for people to go. So I think we've got an advantage there. So, okay. And Visit Hartford, Greg.
Well, thank you. Couple quick updates. I was officially sworn in to the Tourism Advisory Board on April 5th. I'm very happy and proud to be a member of this group. So thank you. There's a lot of things happening, certainly in Havre de Grace. We've all heard that, and we're very we're very involved. We're trying to continue to support and push people there. It is a jewel in Harford County, and we certainly see that, and working closely with Lori and, you know, putting some things together. I've also been working with Bridget Carty with Lower Susquehanna Greenway with the Pride 2, and we've rented some rooms down there for that weekend to put some people up for the weekend. And I will tell you, it was difficult. There's not many rooms available right now, which is a good thing. Weddings are picking up, follow up with Ron. We're seeing that all across the county. People who were postponed from 2020 are now in, plus the people who had already scheduled for 2021. And now we've got new bookings coming. So some of the venues around the county are double and almost triple booked on some days. So, that's happening. Sports tourism has kicked back off again. And we're trying to get people out of the hotels. And one of the locations we're pushing people is Havre de Grace because of what you have in the waterfront and the restaurants, and it is outdoors and it is safe. So we're promoting that. So that's kind of a quick update.
Okay. Any questions for Greg? Okay, well, that moves us on to our kind of chat session about tourism ideas. If anybody has any thoughts, they've seen anything going on somewhere else that they think would be a great idea for Havre de Grace to do, or anything at all, speak up now.
Bill, I don't think you mentioned the stickers that were put on. I know one got put in front of the visitor center yesterday, stating the Arts and Entertainment District, the sidewalk stickers.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
About-
Isn't that part of public art? No?
Well, no, the Arts and Entertainment District stickers you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is a committee under the Arts Collective. And it was really just to identify, bring awareness of the Arts and Entertainment District to people.
Yeah, I
So-
saw Charlie putting one, he put one out in front of the visitor center, but they're basically permanent but not permanent stickers that'll go on the sidewalk, and they can peel them up and change them to different things,
Oh,
so
Yeah.
it's, kind of cool.
I'm not aware of that, to be honest with you, Laurie. I've been
Yeah.
intimately involved in that one, sorry.
Yeah, I think they mentioned at the last Arts Collective meeting, I believe, but it's kind of cool, and it'll let people know, especially when we have all these festivals and people coming from out of town, and to see stuff like that, they could question it or, look into it more when they see that, so.
Sorry to interrupt, but while we're on that topic, I will tell you that we're getting more and more interest in the mural trail now that the weather is opening back up and getting better. So there's a lot of stops in Havre de Grace. The snowball trail is opening back up, so we're seeing more of that happening as well. So if you come across a snowball stand that maybe we don't have, please let us know so we can make sure we get that on our snowball trail as well.
You could do Kona Ice and they just have to find the truck.
Be like a Where's Waldo?
Yeah. And then as far as volunteering goes, I send, whenever they ask for volunteers at the Opera House, Defenders Day, Independence Day was looking for volunteers for the beer garden. I don't know if I mentioned that. For Defenders Day, the Independence Day committee under the projects, community projects of Havre de Grace are running the beer garden. So the funds will go towards our fireworks and our Independence Day parade. But I always send it to you guys too, if you're ever interested in volunteering for any of that stuff. You'll get emails from me.
I just picked up my costume for Defenders Day.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, Susan's going to be running the mosaic table, Arts Collective table during the Defenders Day.
I just want to mention real fast, I know I mentioned the Jazz Blues Fest website. It's hdgjazzbluesfest.org.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to say, bring up, suggest, dream about? So, okay, well then I guess That will conclude the meeting. Our next meeting will be May 19th. We have changed. All our meetings are on the third Wednesday, not the second as in the past. That was done to better accommodate some who had trouble making our second Wednesday meetings.
You heard from Dave Martin? Because I
Yes,
thought that
I
was.
did. The reason we changed was for him, and we haven't seen him since we changed. But turns out he ended up in some kind of Maryland Municipal League meeting that he had to do at the same time as our meeting, the third Wednesday at 10 o'clock. But he told me that this meeting is the last one of those Municipal League meetings for him. So he should be back with us next meeting. So,
Sounds good.
anything else? All right, then we'll adjourn the meeting. Bonnie will put together some minutes for us. We'll get those out to you to read and make sure they're accurate. And thanks for attending, and enjoy the beautiful spring.